What's up, Tsla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what the news is saying about Tesla and the PPI report that just came out, and how Tesla and the market is reacting so far. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. And the offer ends on March 31st, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, as far as the market is going, okay, just know that Tesla is doing a good job at holding up. Don't forget that yesterday they got a very, very nice rating from Morgan Stanley with a bullish case of $800 per share. That's what's helping Tesla push quite a bit. But there's another factor that's helping it, and that's this data right over here. So today's Tuesday, and the data just came out for PPI. PPI month over month was at 0.2%. That's for all items for the month of December. And that was technically a little bit below expectations. So that's a good sign. Core PPI month over month was at 0%. So that is below expectations of 0.2 to 0.3%. So on a month over month basis for the month of December, the data came in below expectations, which is good for the markets. And then at the same time, we have core PPI year over year at 3.5%. That's the same as what we got last time. And that's technically on the lower end of the forecast. So if anything, inflation stayed the same, at least on a year over year basis for core PPI. And then for all items PPI year over year, this is for all items. We actually got a 3.3% report. That is technically aligned with expectations on the lower end. There's a slight little increase compared to what we saw previously of 3%, but still technically aligned with expectations. So all the data was aligned with expectations or a little bit below. So that's a good sign, at least for the inflationary data. That's why the market was pushing quite a bit. So far, so good. Now, as time goes on, at 10 o'clock a.m., we have the Economic Optimism Index reports, not to mention some bill auctions at 11:30. So we'll see what this leads to. Look for some volatility at those times. Then don't forget that tomorrow is going to be Wednesday. That's when we have like CPI and other pieces of data. But for now, just know that PPI was decent, and that's a good sign, at least for the broader markets. As you can see, SPY is in the green, so is Tesla. The market likes this data. For more news involving Tesla, there was a German newspaper that came out. It's known as the, I'm not going to say the name, but the newspaper came out and it's saying that employees at the Giga Berlin were informed that the first units of the refreshed Model Y will roll out to the production line on January 14th. With the new model already launching in China, Tesla's likely going to be announcing that the Juniper is going to be launching in other markets very soon. So that's a very, very good piece of news. If anything, it's going to be very popular. If this truly launches in Germany as soon as today, they could be announcing that it's not just going to be in the production lines, but it's going to be starting to launch in Europe very, very soon. That's a very, very big update, according to these different people. If that ends up being the case, that's going to be bullish news. So far, so good. There's also news that there's going to be other automakers who are going to be included in Tesla's supercharger network. So I think that's going to be very important as well. This is going to be including DC fast charging and other things like that. So looking at this so far, okay, Tesla already has manufacturers that have, they have about 15,000 of these superchargers, and many of these automakers are going to be included. They actually list them right over here. So we have like Ford, Rivian, GM, Volvo, Polestar, Nissan, and then there's even more individual brands that could be included. We're looking at like GMC, Cadillac, and many more like that. But now there's some talk about how BMW, Genesis, Hyundai, Jaguar, Land Rover, Kia, and Lucid are all in the coming soon list, and there could be even more as time goes on. So, waiting to see what ends up happening with that. There's also been talk about the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck debuted, and they got very strong sales in 2024. However, one thing that's worth mentioning is the fact that they did have many of their employees take a small break in December. So there's been some speculation if the sales are selling or slowing down or not. We don't know for sure quite yet. Some employees are saying that they could be just shifting their focus to the Model Y. That's another possibility. So we don't know for sure. But even though that is what's going on, there are some employees who are shifting their focus there. That does not necessarily guarantee that the demand for the Cybertruck is slowing. Some articles say that, but we don't know for sure until we see the sales numbers. Just keep that in mind. For the broader markets, there's not much news coming out. We just have some minor earnings. We did have Moderna cut their 2025 sales guidance by roughly $1 billion on Monday, noting it now expects to bring 1.5 to $2.5 billion for the year. Besides that, I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy on the news. And the last thing is this. This is what the earnings calendar looks like. Tomorrow, that's when we have these big bang earnings starting things off. So we'll see how things go. Let's focus on the charts. What do I see for Tesla? So Tesla's main support is at 407. Watch 410 and 407 as our support. If that fails, it's going to be dumping to about 401. As long as we're above 414, we're looking for an attempt to push back up to about 420. So overall, I think that there's a good chance Tesla tries to push higher for the 420 area as we're holding above 407. And we have a nice double bottom right over here, especially as we made a higher low compared to this low. So it's a good sign for Tesla that this may attempt to continue to push. As long as we don't lose 407, Tesla should attempt to get back into the 420s. I think we're holding up quite nicely, at least thus far. So far, so good for Tesla. There could be an attempt to push a lot higher. It's about 420. If that breaks, we're looking for essentially 425, very close to where this resistance is right up here. And it also aligns with this high right here. So look for those potential resistance levels to be tested as long as we hold above our key supports. For SPY, we push. Now we're just kind of shuffling here. So we hit 585. We need to break 585 to push up to 587 to 589. If we can't do that, then this might shuffle very close to the 585 area. And if it turns back down, you're looking for a move back down towards 580. We got to try to hold that. If not, we're going to be dipping back down to 578. So make sure you watch these levels very, very closely. I think that SPY will attempt to push for 585, but as of right now, we're not holding above it. So I'd like to see us hold above 585 to remain bullish. If we reject off that, we could be dipping back down to 580 or so. So I'm a little bit concerned about this. We have not been able to crack past our 20 EMA quite yet. So although this pushed once the data came out, we're not doing the best of jobs at holding up. So we'll see how it reacts to that. Can we hold above 585 or not? As of right now, it's looking like it might just consolidate, maybe slow down. So just be a little careful. I just want to see if we could break that later on or not. ES is looking a bit more promising. If we could break past 5,900 and hold it, we could be looking for an attempt to get up to 5,930. If we lose 5,900, we could be dipping to 5,880. So watch those levels. As of right now, it's shuffling at 5,900, not really breaking out that hard. So we'll see if we could hold above this or not. So watch these levels very, very closely. As far as Nvidia goes, we pumped all the way up to fill the gap very close to about 136. We need to break past 138 to remain bullish to push into the 140s. If we reject off 138, we could be dipping back down towards 133. So give this some time to develop. Overall, though, I think we're doing a good job. So look at this resistance around this 136 area. If we can't break past this, we could turn back down to 133. I'll be watching these levels very closely. We're a little stuck on Nvidia. We're just trading sideways right now, but I want to see us break once again past 138 to remain bullish. If we can't get back above that, we're going to be at risk of coming back down to 133. For Bitcoin, we pumped to about 97,000. Now we're slowing. We got to hold 95,700. Otherwise, we drop to the 94,000s. We have a nice double bottom, so it's holding up quite well. But don't forget, the possibility of this head and shoulders is still there. There's a left shoulder, head, and maybe a right shoulder. So I'm a little concerned about this. We need to hold 95,780. Otherwise, this could be dipping. So it did pump a bit, but then be careful as we're starting to slow. For NQ, we pumped to 21,100, but notice that we're not holding above it. This is where the 20 EMA is. If we were to break this, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to 21,150. A rejection here would bring us back down to about 21,000 flat. If that had failed us, we'd be tipping all the way down to 20,800. So we're looking for resistance at 21,000. We'll see if we reject off this or not. So watch this very closely, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get. For the QQQ, we're looking for 510 to be tested. I was talking about how it would likely be going up to about 512. We came a bit short of that. I want to see us break 510.5 to 512 for us to push for 515 or above. If we can't hold above the 512 area, then we could be turning back down to essentially 505, then eventually back down to 502. So we're stuck in the middle right now. There's a possible left shoulder, head, and right shoulder form, but we need to break and hold above 10.5 at the very least to start pushing higher. I would like to see it try to push from here, but just know that it's showing a little bit of weakness. We're very flat on the QQQ. We were not able to break past 510 quite yet. Could we do that later? It's always a possibility, but for now, during the pre-market, it's still shuffling even after the data came out. So watch to see if we could break 510 to push to 512 then 515. And if we don't hold above 50 the 507 area, we're looking for 505 as the main support. If we lose 505, we turn down. Break 510, we turn back up. Otherwise, we're stuck in the middle. So as of right now, it's shuffling, so just keep that in mind. For Apple, we're on a bit of a downtrend, but it's trying to rebound. It's very flat right now. I would like to see this try to push to fill this gap for like 237. It might try to push it a little bit. Then we'll see if we get a rejection off that or not. It's completely flat. If we were to lose, just hypothetically 233, we're looking for a dip back down to 231 or below. If we break past 237, we're looking for a push. It's very flat right now, so we'll see what kind of reaction we get. For the Russell, we pumped quite a bit. We have resistance around 219. That's going to be our 20 EMA. If we were to break that, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to 221. If we can't break this, we're looking for a move back down to about 217 as previous resistance becoming support. So make sure you watch these levels very closely. Watch and see how he reacts to 219. That's going to be very key for the way we end up moving. For coin, we look a bit more bullish. If we could hold above 2.5 down, we're looking for an attempt to get to 266. If we lose this, we could be dipping back down to essentially 255. Could go either way, but we need to hold 2.5 down to start pushing for 266, so give this the time it needs. I'm hoping this tries to push a little higher. We just got to hold 259. If we don't hold that, we're going to be dipping back down toward closer to 250, so watch that very closely. If we break 220.5, we're looking for an attempt to get up to 222. And if we, if we reject here, we're looking for a move back down to about 219. If 219 fails us, we could be dipping back down to about the 217.5 area. So watch what happens as we're just at resistance on Amazon at 220. Meta is completely flat right now. We have 607 as resistance, and we have support down here at 600. If 600 fails us, we dip to 594. And if we break 607, we're looking for a push. It's hard to tell. It's very flat right now, so it's very choppy. Microsoft needs to break 420 to turn back up. It did test 420 as predicted yesterday, but we have to see if we break past that or not. If 420 holds, we look for a push for 425. If it rejects here, we're looking for a move back down to 415. On Google, we're very flat. We need to break past 193. If that breaks, we're looking for an attempt to get up to 195. If this rejects, we're looking for a move back down to 190. We're still stuck in the middle. So watch and see if 192 fails us or not. So my view of the market is quite simple. There is an attempt to bounce right here. But some stocks are showing some weakness. They're very flat. Tesla has the potential to push more as long as we don't lose 407. If 407 fails for Tesla, we're looking for 401 and eventually back down towards like the 390 area. And if we hold above 407, there could be an attempt to get back up to 420 and may try to push upon open, but just be careful because the market it's not really breaking out. There's some stocks that are showing strength, other stocks are looking kind of flat. So please watch your levels very closely. Anyways, that's it for my video. Thank you for listening, guys. I'll be back in a couple of hours for another update, and peace out.